I'll never ride the bus again after what happened one night. This all went down when I was 17. Back then, I was hitting the gym 3 or 4 times a week, usually catching the bus home afterward. But one Sunday evening changed everything. I had just missed my usual ride and had no choice but to wait for the next one, which was already running behind schedule. Calling my parents wasn't an option. They were out for the night. And taxis? Too expensive for me back then. So I did what anyone would do. I sat in the bus shelter and waited it out. It was brutally cold, and fresh snow had started blanketing the street. Time crawled. My hands were freezing, and still no sign of the bus. To distract myself, I popped in my earphones and put on some music. An hour slipped by. The streets were eerily empty. And then I noticed something. A shadow in my peripheral vision. A man was approaching. He moved with an odd, sluggish gait, bundled up in layers of oversized clothing. There was something wrong, something unnatural about the way he walked. I didn't want to make eye contact, just kept my eyes glued to my phone screen, pretending not to notice. He stepped into the shelter and sat at the far end. He didn't speak at first, just stared. His eyes were glassy, unblinking. He gave off the vibe of someone either drunk, high, or not entirely in his right mind. Then he finally spoke. "When's the bus coming?" I removed one earbud and responded, "Probably delayed. The snow's messing everything up." He didn't say anything, just kept staring at me. Then he started whispering, or maybe mumbling, words I couldn't quite make out. I tried to ignore it, pretending to be busy on my phone. A minute passed, then another. I peeked over, and he'd moved closer. I looked away, hoping he'd take the hint, but I heard it, the slow sound of fabric sliding across metal as he scooted even nearer. I turned to him and asked, "You all right, man?" He didn't answer. Instead, he leaned in toward me, lifting his arm in a twitchy motion, his eyes still locked onto mine. That was it. I snatched my bag and bolted. I didn't look back. I didn't care. I just ran fast toward the next stop, heart thudding, breath steaming in the freezing air. Finally, I reached another bus shelter and sat down, trying to calm myself. I leaned my head back against the cold glass. Then, knock, 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 knock. I froze. Slowly, I turned and nearly screamed. That same man was right there on the other side of the glass, his face just inches from mine. His eyes were wild, and he was smiling. "What the hell is wrong with you?" I shouted, backing away as he began circling the shelter like a predator. "I'm warning you. Stay back," I yelled, my voice shaking. But I couldn't leave. I had dropped my bag, and it was still inside the shelter. And then he lunged at me. I dodged at the last second, and he went down hard, face smashing against the concrete. Blood started to pool beneath him. I stood there, frozen, heart racing, adrenaline spiking, unsure if I should run or help. I finally snapped out of it and called 911. When the police and paramedics arrived, I explained everything. They checked his ID and found something strange. a photo in his wallet. It was of him and a boy who looked almost exactly like me. That's when it clicked. They told me he'd lost custody of his son in a brutal court battle and spiraled out of control. The man had been heavily medicated on prescription drugs, and maybe, just maybe, he thought I was his son. He was taken to a facility for treatment. I never saw him again. Not long after that night, I got my driver's license, and I haven't stepped on a public bus since. Not once.